Happy Deep Dive Wednesday, y'all. I pray that you are experiencing God's peace and presence and pleasure in the midst of these very difficult days in our country. You know, I'm sometimes asked, how do I pray? What does that look like? And I have two words: with belief. Is there a specific way that we are supposed to come before God in prayer? Yes, with belief. Does God hear our prayers? Well, do you believe that God hears our prayers? The Lord has been dealing with me on this issue in a way that I call a 2x4 between the eyes. In other words, a very stern, corrective message. KD, do you believe that I will answer your prayers? And honestly, I've kind of lost that belief. For years, I have prayed to be delivered from a really painful season of life. And after a while, that prayer has become kind of rote. I offer it, but really don't believe that God's going to do anything about it, about my request. You know, that's like coming to a faucet to get a drink of water, but really not believing that water is going to come out of that faucet. It makes no sense, right? Psalm 37 tells us that if we delight ourselves in the Lord, He will give us the desires of our heart. In other words, if we are living our lives according to His will and way, if we are seeking to glorify, honor Him with our lives and not ourselves, then He will give us the desires of our heart. Our desires will align with His desires, and yes, He will fulfill those requests. I'm reminded of a story that we often hear during the Christmas season, but I think it's just so appropriate right now. It comes to us in Luke 1, where we meet a couple, Zacharias and Elizabeth. They are an elderly couple. Zacharias is a priest, and they have been married for years, but have not been able to have children. Now, in that time, society would have interpreted that as they had done something to offend God, and therefore He is punishing them by not giving them a child. But the Word tells us that they were righteous people. They were living their lives according to His will and His way. So He wasn't punishing them. What was He up to? Something really big. An angel of the Lord appeared to Zacharias standing at the right of the altar of incense. Zacharias was troubled when he saw the angel, and fear gripped him. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zacharias, for your petition has been heard, and your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you will give him the name John. You will have joy and gladness, and many will rejoice at his birth." But it seems that Zacharias didn't really buy that, didn't really believe that. After all, it's something he had prayed for years and years, and it had gone unanswered. Zacharias said to the angel, "How will I know this for certain? For I'm an old man, and my wife is advanced in years." The angel answered and said to him, "I am Gabriel, who stands in the presence of God, and I have been sent to you to bring you this good news. Behold, you shall be silent and unable to speak until the day when these things take place, because you did not believe my words, which will be fulfilled in their proper time." Zacharias was muted by the angel Gabriel, and therefore unable to participate in the miracle that was taking place, unable to praise God for His faithfulness for the fulfillment of a prayer that had yet come to pass. Now, we know that Elizabeth did get pregnant and delivered a miracle baby, and she wanted to name him John. Her friends and family thought that was crazy, because in that time you named the firstborn son after his father. So it should have been Zacharias. And they made signs to his father as to what he wanted him called. And he asked for a tablet and wrote as follows: "His name is John." And they were all astonished, and at once his mouth was opened and his tongue loosed, and he began to speak in praise of God. Finally, he could praise God for the fulfillment of the promise. But he could have been doing that all along the while, praising God and proclaiming his faithfulness even before the miracle had come to pass. What are you praying for these days? We got some big prayers, don't we? Healing for our country. That's a big prayer. We have a bigger God. Maybe healing for yourself or family members or friends. Again, big prayer, bigger God. Maybe you lost your job in the midst of all of this mess and you've been begging the Lord to create a way for you to have income, praying for that. Do you believe that he will fulfill that? He will do so. He will give us the desires of our hearts in his way and in his time. May not look anything like what we imagined. I'm pretty sure Zacharias didn't imagine what was going to happen to him. But God will do it. The question is, do we believe he will do it?